Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scope. You're back with another video. Today we're going to talk about going out, right? The three types of going out, right? It's very interesting. Very interesting. It's not about personal development. It's not about, teaching you anything. It's just based on my experiences, what I experienced last night, and sort of having perspective. I think that's what we do best. I hate being dumbed down. I hate when people talk down to me and tell me this and give me advice, especially from other people who are not Scorpios or who are not INFJs or who are not intuitive feelers. They try to give me advice and it's just like, bro, you don't know me. But anyway, we're not going to go into that space. It's a happy Sunday, right? We're going to keep it nice and steady. So, I went out last night and I experienced something, but I knew exactly what I was going to experience. Again, it's our introverted intuition that, based on our experiences, we internalize and then we can later recall. And after we do it a couple times, it becomes layered at the forefront so we actually know. Okay? But now what's important about this is that it actually helps us to better navigate. It prepares us for what's to come. So now when we meet these things, we now can sort of have different reactions, okay? For better or for worse. Let me explain. Three types of going out, and I will then paint the bigger picture. I'm going to go the opposite. First type of going out is when you are actually with your friends, right? When you're with people who you know, you have like a nice deep connection with. You can go out, have some dinner, have some drinks, go to a bar, what have you, and it's like there's like this nice connection of folks who are together. It's like, oh man, great, And then you go out, you leave, whatever, and you go to a club, and it's wonderful, right? And you think about good times and so forth and so on. That's one. Number two is that one of which you are invited by, let's say, a person that you know or that you are close associated with, but yet you don't know the other people. So it's like someone says, hey, I'm having a party, or I'm going to a party, why don't you come? And then you end up at that party and you only know that one person, but that person knows everyone except for you. You don't really know anyone. And then you have the other kind of going out where you actually go out on your own, right? And that's more of like, I'm actually going to go out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to do that. And there's no expectations, no anticipations. I'm just going to go out and then just enjoy myself, whether it be out to dinner on your own, to a movie on your own, or to a bar on your own, and hopefully you meet people. And sometimes you may leave thinking, oh man, I didn't meet anyone, it was kind of lonely, I'm not going to do it again. Or sometimes you actually have some conversations, but at the same time it's still surfacey, right? So it's like, there's no real deep connection here, I'm still going to go home by myself. That's why I don't like traveling on my own. I'm going to be going to Texas soon for a few weeks, and I'm going to dread it because I know I'm not going to know anyone there, and having to go out on my own, it's like, so I might have to do some like meetups. I think I'm going to really get involved in meetups. So we'll see. Basically, I was invited by a coworker of mine, right? He's a high flyer, right? A lot, because we're in the Vegas area. He likes to go skydiving, base jumping, and all that stuff. Quite a few people like that, right? He rides motorcycles, does the stunts on the motorcycles and so forth. So it's very high risk, right? High flying type of guy. But yet because we work together, he has more of a connection to me and socially, right? But we don't hang out, right? Again, because I'm very standoffish, I don't hang out with everyone. Even though he's offered, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'll be like, hey, not whatever. Like, I'm not going to sort of initiate, hey, let's go out to drink or let's do this or whatever. Just because I already know his personality. I already know what kind of person he is. I know that when he may get like one of those type of drunks that I don't like. Very like pushy. Hey, you know, why are you so quiet? Or why are you so do this? Or let's go over here. Let's do this. Or you know, so I don't like to deal with those kind of people when they drink. So I he invited me to his birthday party, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. Cool. And then so yesterday, you know, I went out with the family. We were shopping because I had to get some threads, right, for the department Christmas party that's coming up next weekend. So, but throughout that whole time, I'm thinking, oh, I really don't want to go, right? Like I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm gonna go. And here's why. And I started getting perspective. The thing is, it's because I know that he only invited me. Out of all the 700,000, 800,000 people in the entire department and within our immediate section in our division, he didn't invite anyone else. So I'm like, I know that he's gonna know everyone that he invited, and they're gonna know each other, and I'm gonna be the only one who knows him. And yeah, I can forge my way, but it becomes taxing. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so like you find that you have to sort of stick with someone that you know, and sometimes it can be hard because then like because for us we like to sort of like have these like singular conversations, but then we're mindful of like, okay, well, we're holding him or that or she, and you have other people who may want to be able to converse with that person as well. So sometimes you don't want to hog that person. So it's like, you know, but then again, you don't know anyone. So and it's like the fact that you started something with that person, you can do it again 2 or 3 times, but for the course of like an hour, 2 hours, it sort of takes a toll on you of having to like restart this and restart and restart. And sometimes you may not go back to the people you're with because it's like the conversation ended. You know how we get. It's like, okay, I'm done with you. I've already filled you out. We've had the conversation and there's a connection there, but I'm not going to go back to you because there's nothing there. And it's nothing against that person. It's just, fine, listen, other types, they can do that, right? They can be like, well, I don't give a crap about you. So guess what? Why can't we articulate that, right? Other people do it. But again, like I said in my other video, we have this way of like not saying certain things because we don't want to be, you know, perceived as like mean or aggressive and so forth and so on, which we're not. But at the end of the day, it's like with Mr. Paradox, is like, that's who we are. Like, we don't like dealing with people. We like our space. So in our minds, we're like, I don't want to hang out with you because you're done. But you know what I'm saying? But other people do it. So we miss the paradox. I think I'm going to make a video on that, on missing the paradox. It's like, yeah, we don't want to hang out with you, but we just don't want to say we don't want to hang out with you because we don't want to hurt your feelings. So I ended up going. And I was like, I know it's going to be one of those things. So, and it ended up being. So I went up and I immediately charged up one for someone that I knew, okay, I can relate to. We started talking. He was an actual engineer. He graduated engineer. He was thinking about, you know, going to DC and so forth. Oh, so now we have something in common. But then there was someone that was next to him, and I can tell that, like, I'm talking to this person, and I can tell that, like, there's a sense of like, again, that's SC working, right? It's like the SC that's working, that sort of, the SC that's working to internalize his FE, because I'm like, oh, this guy's starting to feel uncomfortable, okay? But he was, just because of the fact that he wasn't talking to anyone else. But I misperceived it only because I didn't realize something. But it's okay. What happened was that as I'm talking to him, I feel like I'm back here. So I said, let me open it up. So I said, hey, what's your deal? What's your situation? Whatever. So I asked him. Little did I know that they were actually roommates. And they've known each other since the 6th grade. So I was like, man, like, I really like that. And they're from Vegas. We started talking about how the fact that I really like that. Because, you know, me from being from Jersey, you know, you can go to the store or a restaurant. People know you by your name, you know, especially living around Italians. There's that familiarity, you know. And a lot of the high school kids, you know, they stayed because, you know, the Italians, they're very labor type, so they work with construction, you know, sanitation, whatever. So they stay around, you know, the local area. So I'm familiar with that, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. You guys know each other, because I guess their parents went to the same high school together, and then they went to the same high school together as well. So now they're roommates. So I was like, it's so weird, because I'm talking, and I literally said it. I was like, I'm talking to you, and I turned around because I felt bad because I wasn't giving him any attention. Next thing you know, like this connection that I had no idea, and we all started laughing. But again, it just, despite, I knew that because I can feel that he wasn't talking to anyone. So guess what? He was like me. So you can tell, like, and then throughout the night, you can tell, like, they were actually hanging out together because they knew each other. They didn't really know anyone else. So he was more like me. It's like, I'm not gonna drive, that energy, because it's not worth it to like get, across everyone else, Maybe one person that he may know just based on going to that place often, that he was able to have a conversation with. But generally speaking, he just stuck to his roommate, which is a person that, But here's one situation that happened. So we went from inside, and we were at Gold Spike. So went from the inside to the outside. And as we're outside, my friend and his group are all there. And I'm like, I don't know them because they were getting a drink. So like, I don't know all of them. So it's kind of hard for me to just go in there and be like, and I don't want to have to be like, hey dude, like I'm here, make me feel part of it, like I don't want to do that. So I went out there again, gotta be cool, not when I say cool, but just like not look like weird out here by yourself. So I saw the two guys that I was talking to before. So I immediately went, to them, and they were having a conversation. And again, so I have my drink in my hand. That's that comfort, right? So you can take a sip so you don't look all awkward. And then all of a sudden, as they're having a conversation, I guess everyone's sitting on here. There were two seats, and they grabbed the seat and they pulled it to the chair. It was like one of those like low cushion, what do you call it again? Those what do you call those things again? Those when you put your feet up on the I forget the name. I'm probably gonna put it against the screen. Ottoman, right? There was like those like sort of like those Ottoman type of chairs, whatever. So they both pulled it together, and I'm like, okay, like this is weird. Like for like 3 seconds, like, and I'm like, I was getting to my feelings, right? I guess maybe this is FI, whatever. I'm like, how you just literally gonna, because I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying to you? I would always make sure that I'm mindful of who I'm with. And they literally took the Ottomans and they put, like they put it so that they can sit, and then they went to the table. And I'm like, I'm here. And like there's no one else standing with me, and I'm by myself. I mean, obviously there's people around, further down, but I'm like, uh-oh. So I quickly turned around and I went to go to that other group there. And he ended up coming by too. And I think because again, I sort of understood him. I think he was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that because that was kind of inappropriate. You know what I'm saying to you? But again, we do that. Other people, they don't care about that. They'll just literally like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're here. I'm having a conversation with you. Let's bring our chairs in and let's have that one-on-one conversation because I'm interested in that, and forget about whoever was there. So I went in there, and then I saw the other friend that I was talking to. Again, it's one of those things. So I'm having a conversation with him, and then he actually comes in, and then he's like, hey, you're going to get a drink, whatever. And then now they start having their conversation, the roommates, again, while we're online for the drink. But I'm just here, just there because I don't have anywhere to go. So there's this other guy, well, he actually had mentioned Florida before, whatever, because I'm moving to Florida. So I said, hey, brother. He wasn't talking, but he was in a group, and he was just listening. And I said, hey, brother, just a question for you. Hey, you had mentioned Florida. You from Florida? He's like, yeah, I'm from Florida. So then from there, we actually started engaging and so forth and so on. I was asking questions, and we went inside. For like a good 15 minutes, we had that nice conversation. And then at one point in time, his roommate came, or his friend came, because he flew down from Florida, just for the weekend, just for that particular event. And he came down, and his friend came over and had mentioned something. And then the friend apologize. Hey, brother, I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation, with my weird stuff. So I was like, oh, all right, that's cool. It's pretty, interesting. And then I left, just because they were gonna go to another club and I wasn't gonna go hopping because I'm not into that third hop. Because I was like, okay, if I do that, then it's gonna be that awkward moment of like, okay, who's getting in which car? So the people who know each other the best are gonna get in one car, and then I don't know who, and I'm gonna be stuck with like, that feeling of like during like when you're being chosen for like, like a pickup game, like, whoever knows who the best, gets picked, and then those who don't know each other, they get left. And I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with that. So I ended up going, and I was just like, so I ended up getting some In-N-Out burger, and fell asleep watching Heat by Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer. So, but I was with my wife though. She's actually a hard charge. She was actually waiting for me outside because, and here's the thing, I'll tell you on this last note. We were out, and the thing is, they were gonna get to that place at 9, and I told her, I said, babe, like it's already 9 o'clock now. By the time we get home, I drop you off, then I gotta come back. It's gonna be like 10 o'clock because they're gonna be going to Chateau at 10:30. So do you mind if we just go there now? You could just hang out in the car, She's a trooper for me, right? So I stood for like 45 minutes. She was like, yeah, whatever, no problem. So I did that, whatever. And I told him, I said, listen, bro, I said, because I was like, I told the last guy that I was talking to was from Florida. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool, man. Like, I appreciate the fact that you actually, flew over from Florida to Vegas, just for the weekend, just for this one night to spend with your friend. He's like, yeah, we rode together for 6 years or for whatever years, in Florida. We're cool. So I was like, yeah, I appreciate that. That's dedication. And so my friend was like, hey, I really would like for you to come to Chateau with us. But again, it's like we didn't really have any conversation, any really interaction that night. But once we were in that group right before I left, he started, warming up. And I was like, I said, no, I gotta go, And I said, well, I'm so dedicated, because my friend was there. I said, I love the way that he came down and he really supported you. I said, I'm so dedicated myself that my wife is outside waiting for me. And he was like, oh, bro, like, that's so cool. That's, that's so... just like, and he really, even though he was a little drinking, but he was like, man, I can really appreciate that. That's really cool. And that's what we do, right? Like, other people would have been like, oh, I'm not going to go. I don't care. But again, why did I do that? Because, again, forward thinking. I work with a guy. He's the guy who would never, like, let it go of the fact that I didn't show up. And I was the only person that he invited, you see what I'm saying to you, out of the whole thing, and I didn't show up. You see what I'm saying to you? So I didn't want to hear that. So it'd be better off where my wife had to like sacrifice, 45 minutes. I can get in there. I can do whatever I needed to do, show up, and now I'm good. You see what I'm saying to you? So again, like, why wait for tomorrow what you can do today? Sometimes, but you just got to bite the bullet, do it, so that it prevents from having the whole, craziness afterwards. And that's what I did, right? So again, just to recap, 3 types of going out. The one when you go out, when you know all your friends, which he was in, because he knew most of everyone. He was able to do his rounds with everyone because he knew, and he invited people, and people came, whatever, which is cool. Then there's the other type, which is where I was in, where I only knew him, and it was kind of difficult for me to force to everyone, even though I did. But again, like, after a certain amount of times, like, you can't really forge it unless you're like extroverted. That's cool, but we're talking about INFJs or intuitive feelers in this video. So it sort of applies to our types, right? And then you have the other types where we're just gonna go out on our own. Right, we're gonna go on our own. We're not gonna make any contacts. Everything's gonna be surface, and we're just gonna absorb. You know what I'm saying? And sort of assess and see what's going on. Get some of that stimulation. Get a little overwhelmed, and then be like, okay, I'm done. And then you go back to your hotel, and you do your own thing, and then you wonder why, I'm not more sociable, and why I'm home alone, or I'm back at the hotel alone, where I could be out and having fun, and see all these things go through your head. But anyway, that's basically it. So I just wanted to just give that perspective Yeah, it sucks, bro. Like it's and like I was talking to my wife about it on the way, and she was like, "Yeah, but I think you're overthinking it." And I would have been like, I would have had no problem just what she was saying. I would have no problem. Hey, why don't you introduce me to this person? Introduce me to that person. You know, because she's the ESTP. She's she's like that. She goes out and does that stuff. And to me, I'm not into that stuff. Right? I just feel weird doing that. But anyway, that's the story, right? So, is there a hidden message behind that? I guess yeah. Just know, like realize, and don't get caught up. Like don't be the third leg. If you don't need to be the third leg, don't be the third leg. In these social situations, when you're invited by someone and you're probably like the only one that that person knows, just show up. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time there. Just show up. Just basically, I have this new saying, right? Do the right thing, conscious clean. Do the right thing, conscious clean means you do the right thing, you show up, you know, uh, and your conscience will be cleaner. Like I went to sleep good because I know that I'm not going to be worried about him saying, oh, I invited him, he didn't come, whatever, because I did the right thing. Even though I didn't stay for a long time or whatever, but guess what? My conscience is still clean, So at the end of the day, just do the right thing and your conscience will be clean. On that note, Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, we out.